Yo guys, what is up? Max on a Borderlands 4 video, and today we get our first major update to Borderlands 4, as in the first paid DLC content launch. However, plot twist, the devs have made this DLC pack that they were dropping, the bounty pack, How Rush Saved Mercenary Day, free for all players. We're going to be going over everything you need to know. They've also announced takedowns and tons of endgame improvements, as well as a massive patch that changes and adds a few much requested features. Hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. Real quick, this is going to be a little bit of a different video because I'm currently in Africa, so I'm not able to boot up the game at the moment. I don't think I'd have the download speed for it. Hopefully this video uploads, but I wanted to get this video out for y'all and cover all of the changes and the things that are coming out for Borderlands 4. Hope you enjoy. Let's do this. So the first thing to talk about is Bounty Pack 1 is now available. This was originally going to be paid content, and it seems like they've now made it free. From one of their notes, it sounds like they weren't able to get as much content into this as they were hoping, so they're going to be making it free, and then they're also going to be adding an additional Bounty Pack later on, so there's going to be 5 of them instead of 4. So if you paid for the Super Deluxe Premium Edition, you're still going to be getting 4 paid content drops. This one is going to be free, however, which I really like. I do find it surprising to hear that they weren't able to get as much stuff in this as they wanted initially, especially because updates I feel like have been a little bit slow, but I'm imagining they're working on all of the other changes that they've been listed kind of coming soon. Now, I do want to note that this bounty pack is not a story pack. This is not a big major DLC. These bounty packs are a mission or two with some new cosmetics, some new gear, and some new things to go fight. But they're not like the big story DLCs, which are going to introduce completely new regions, new vault hunters, tons of new missions. Those are more substantial DLCs, and the first one of that is arriving Q1 of 2026. Next, they said that they're introducing a free takedown. If you don't know what a takedown is, it is the best endgame content, in my opinion, that Borderlands has ever received. Borderlands 3 got 2 of them. Basically, they are incredibly challenging raids or dungeons that are designed for single players. They're not like a Destiny dungeon where you need coordinated mechanics. However, they offer a really tough challenge and a prolonged mobbing and bossing, where you usually fight across a big group of mobs, then a boss, big group of mobs, then a boss. They're a really great format for hard endgame content, and they didn't have any on the roadmap, which was really surprising. So great to hear that they are going to be doing takedowns coming in 2026, and this is also going to be free. That is in addition to the invincible bosses, which we're getting our first one next month, as well as UVH 6 for the increased difficulty. And they also note we're also planning more endgame improvements in the short and long term to ensure the endgame is more engaging. We know many of you have poured dozens of hours into powering up your Vault Hunter. We want to ensure that you feel rewarded for your efforts while still having new goals to keep striving for. We'll have more info to share about our plans for enhancing endgame early next year. So sounds like they're going to be getting pretty deep into it, but all the endgame changes don't sound like they're going to be coming until at least next year. But once again, we still have the raid boss and UVH 6 coming next month. Now we get into our patch notes. I actually haven't read through these yet, so we're going to be kind of live reacting. We're delivering on some key request improvements, smarter loot drops, and a new legendary loot indicator for your radar. These are alongside major improvements, visual polish, and stability updates. Beyond today's update, the team is hard at work on highly requested quality of life features. Working on photo mode is wrapping up. Awesome. While other updates like support for multiple active big encore machines, awesome. And more options for scaling difficulty are coming. We'll talk more about these closer to their launch. Further into the future, we're looking at ways to improve shared character progression and additional endgame focus activities. Did someone say takedowns, launch, cross-save support, and more? Now that we're post-launch, we want to break down how we'll deliver updates to you. We have 2 main kinds. Minor updates will take care of any smaller, more pressing issues outside of the planned update schedule, primarily balance changes if needed. They also refresh the weekly activities, and then major updates deliver large-scale changes, including new content, more sweeping balance adjustments, performance, and other things. This is going to be a major update on the November 20th. They're also dropping Bounty Pack 1. This is going to be the new mission that you can engage with. And also, it's going to give you a vault card. If you don't know what a vault card is, it's basically like a vault, a battle pass that never goes away or never expires. You'll have daily and weekly challenges, and just by killing enemies, you can earn XP for it, and then you can redeem whatever you want from the vault card. It's not like you have to like work through a battle pass where it's like level 1, level 2, level 3. If you want to get the pistol, you can just get the pistol. And you can get it as many times as you want. So notable changes, we wanted to pull these out specifically as they've been heavily mentioned in the community. Updated weekly wildcard missions to set additional start points in missions. Hallelujah. I'm imagining this is going to allow you to skip the starting dialogue that most missions have. Really silly that endgame missions had like long stretches of dialogue. That's great. This feature will allow future weekly wildcard missions to jump straight to the meat of a mission. Thank goodness. Class mods have been adjusted to drop more for your current character. Thank goodness. That's great. Converted the phosphine weapon challenge from character-based to profile-wide progression. Hallelujah. This long-term grind is aimed at our most dedicated community members who invest the most time into the game. Still, we agree that completing this collection is more of a reflection of your dedication to the game and not to a specific Vault Hunter. This is the first example of allowing more progression to be shared between all characters on your account. Updated the loot feed to display total current currency after spending or receiving money. Reduced the likelihood of unintended movements or knockbacks while reviving a teammate. And they added a new legendary loot indicator to the combat radar for easier indication of high rarity drops. They had a note about them adding this prior, but it didn't work. So now hopefully it's working. You should be able to see loot on your combat radar. So gameplay and mission progression updates. They addressed an issue that could cause the loss of SDU tokens or specialization points. Thank goodness I've heard some horror stories about people losing their specialization points from this. They resolved an interaction where players could not repurchase a boss encounter after all party members were defeated and respond. Slide attacking lootable objects will now open or break them consistently. That's pretty cool. They resolved some progression blockers. NPCs becoming unkillable. It seems like there's a bunch of like bug fixes and changes. Let's get to the Vault Hunters. I'll have these in the description, by the way, if you want to read through them. Aim on the Forge Knight. Updated Forge Knight Forge Drone challenge so unlocks properly upon meeting completion requirements. Corrected skill tree investment functionality to prevent Forge Knight from applying skill points out of order. Updated I wonder if that was that bug. Updated weapon input handling so Forge Knight can reliably swap weapons after using the whip attack. Nice. Rafa, Soltado kill skill passive has been adjusted to function properly with 2 skill points. Aw, that's insane. That's absolutely insane. What? If you don't know, Soltado is Rafa's ability to like double all of his like overdrive bonuses, and that will now work with 2 out of 1, which basically doubles all of Rafa's damage. Ranger Rafa is going to be absolutely insane. Oh, you know, we might actually have to respec that skill tree now, technically, because now you're actually going to want 2 out of 1 Soltado. We're gonna have to update some Rafa builds, but 2 out of 1 Soltado now works, meaning you're gonna have a ridiculous amount of overdrive bonuses. That's crazy. That might make Rafa like easily the best Vault Hunter in the game. That's really, really, really crazy. Improved Project Raiju's capstone behavior so Apophis Lance consistently damages enemies during extended uptime. Adjusted Booming Business passive functionality to prevent grenade spawns when the passive skills exceed its intended level cap. Oh, that's great. You can now go 10 out of 5 into Booming Business. Passive functionality to prevent grenade spawns with a passive skill. Yeah. You could basically just spam grenades now by shooting. Man, Rafa, huge ups from this. Updated to Mario passive skill so it provides the intended gun damage bonus rather than a general damage increase. Cool. Vex the Siren, updated challenge tracking so target Prescient's passive only progresses when damage valid targets. Harlow. Ensures the QED passive skill would remain functional in multiplayer. Updated Gravitar's 0-point action skill so it now properly enters cooldown when used on enemies immune to stasis. Previously using the skill on stasis immune targets after affecting a normal enemy could cause it to remain active instead of triggering cooldown. All Vault Hunters adjusted critical hit calculation so gun enhancement damage now applies correctly to all valid hit regions. Oh, I think they're targeting like the fake crits basically, and like crit damage only applying to like real crits and stuff. That's interesting. Adjusted cryo resistance scaling so enemy resistances now correctly match each player's level. Prevented action skills from activating during the first loading screen. Updated kill volume logic. Ensured sniper ammo displays full capacity. Gear and rewards. Adjusted melee damage on bayonet weapons so that melee damage increases with bayonet parts. I brought this up before the game even launched. I really wanted like bayonet parts to increase your melee damage. Super weird that they didn't. Now they do. So we're gonna have to go find good melee weapons to hold. This is, by the way, just a pretty massive buff to melee. Obviously, like melee still probably needs work, but like if you can get like a 120% melee damage bayonet on a weapon, that's a huge buff to the damage that we were doing. They adjusted interaction, allowing you to infinitely scale splash radius with Queen's Rest. Someone sent me a clip of that, and I hadn't gotten around to it, but good to know that it got fixed. Looks like there's just a bunch of bug fixes. They standardized some instances of firmware 3-piece bonuses. Cooldowns to appear consistently. Visual cooldowns have been added for Oscar Mike, Ahoy, and Daddy-O. Cool. Gear balance. Oh boy, here we go. Dark Beast. Address the scaling issue. Explosion chance increased from 5% to 20%. Damage increased by 15%. Interesting. Dark Beast, pretty bad weapon. I wonder if there was this adjust to scaling issue is going to make it good, because a 15% damage increase is not really doing anything. The explosion chance is really nice, but I wonder if it wasn't scaling properly, and now it will. Same with Prince Harming, also didn't do anything. Self damage amount reduced from 5% to 1.5% of damage done. Cool. Onslaught, damage increased by 75%. Cool. Ruby's Grass, damage increased by 40%. Ruby's Grass getting more buffs. Lucky Clover, damage buffed. The Vamoose got a damage buffed. Asher's Rise, address the scaling issue. There's got to be, it sounds like some of these weapons that are really bad are just not scaling with level properly. Because, like, Asher's Rise is terrible. So seeing a 5% damage increase makes no sense. But I'm imagining it probably got a much bigger buff than that because of the potentially scaling issue. For firmware bonuses, they increased get throwing ordnance damage from 10 to 35%. Daddy-O damage increase from 20% to 35%, and you get more mag size. Rubber Bandman gives you more lifesteal and more damage reduction. Those also get doubled by the 3-piece, so that's 20% lifesteal. Could be kind of interesting on Vex. Jacked, they changed. Still probably not going to use that. They buffed up the Atlas nodes a decent bit, from 10 to 25% damage while locked. Real Big Fist, they increased the explosion radius. That could be really interesting for melee builds. Real Big Fist, the 200% radius explosion just didn't hit anything. So if that's big enough, that could be really big quality of life for builds. They increased the missile damage of Airstrike by 35% and decreased its cooldown. Nice. There's a ton of UI changes here, and visual changes and audio changes. Cool. The big encore boss is Callus, Harbinger of Annihilating Death, who is dropping the Lucky Clover, which just got buffed. It looks like Maurice's Black Market vending machine is in Carcadia Burn. I don't know if I'll be able to download the update to put his location in this video. We'll see. But I'll probably have it as like a pinned thing down in the comments. Guys, that's going to do it for the video. I do apologize that this video is pretty scuffed. Once again, I'll be home in 2 days where I will be able to fully cover this DLC drop and all of the new gear and update our builds. However, I won't really be able to do too much until I'm home. But I do want to just get this video out there. Overall, some thoughts on this. I'm really glad to see Gearbox is listening. It's very clear that they are hearing what we're complaining about and the feedback that we're giving. They are going to be making improvements to the endgame to make it more challenging, more repeatable. They're going to be adding takedowns. I'm imagining they saw the frustration with the Halloween event and also the growing concerns for this current upcoming thing, and maybe decided that it wasn't going to be enough, and that's partly why they made it free. Hopefully, bounty packs in the future will be more substantial to more validate their price. I am frustrated that we didn't get takedowns on launch and things like that, because I thought that would have been a shoo-in. But it is what it is. Gearbox is listening, they're adapting, and they're going to be improving Borderlands 4 to make the end game much better, which is, the biggest thing that I personally care about Borderlands with is the end game. That's where I spend most of my time. So glad to see. I hope the new content is awesome. Let me know your opinions on it down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace.